The night the moon chose me, I tried to make it reject me. I stood barefoot on sacred stone, dressed in white like a lie, while hundreds of wolves waited for my fate. They thought I was trembling from fear. They were wrong. I was trembling from hope, the hope that the Luna ceremony would fail, that the moon would turn its face away and finally let me disappear. Because if the moon accepted me, everything I had buried would rise. The drums thundered, the moonlight descended, and I fought it with every breath in my lungs. I didn't see the Alpha King at first. I only felt him, power crashing into the circle like a storm, silencing the forest, freezing my blood. When his silver eyes locked onto mine, something inside me broke open. I had secrets soaked in blood, a lineage erased from history, a power that should not exist. I thought I could fail quietly. I was wrong. The Alpha King stepped forward, broke every sacred law, and exposed the truth I would have died to protect. In front of everyone, the moon did not reject me. It claimed me, and in that moment, as shadows wrapped around my skin, and the Alpha King whispered a single devastating word, "Mate," I realized the ceremony wasn't my end. It was the beginning of a war. The world was never meant to survive. The night she wanted to disappear, the full moon rose like a burning eye over Silverclaw Pack, bathing the ancient stone circle in cold white light. Drums echoed through the forest, slow and heavy, matching the heartbeat of the pack gathered for the most sacred night of the year. The Luna ceremony for everyone else, it was a night of destiny. For Elira Voss, it was a night she prayed would destroy her. She stood at the edge of the clearing, fingers clenched in the thin silver fabric of her ceremonial gown. White pure, untouched Luna, lest a cruel joke, because nothing about Elira was pure anymore. Step forward, candidates, the high priestess called. Elira's feet felt rooted to the ground. Her wolf nicks curled deep inside her chest, silent and wounded. If I fail, if the moon rejects me, I'll be free. Free from the whispers, free from the expectations. Free from him across the circle, seated on the obsidian throne carved with ancient runes. Alpha King Kale Draven watched her. His presence was suffocating. Tall, broad, shouldered, dressed in black ceremonial armor that gleamed under moonlight, Kale was power-given flesh. His silver eyes, alpha eyes, cut through the crowd and locked onto Elira like a hunter who had already claimed his prey. He hadn't looked away once. Elira swallowed hard. He can't know. No one can know. Not what she had done. Not what she carried inside her blood. One by one, the other young women stepped into the moon's circle. The moon accepted them, soft silver light wrapping around their bodies, marking them as Luna, blessed. Applause followed, pride, joy, then Elira Voss. A hush fell. She felt it instantly. The judgment, the curiosity, the barely hidden disdain. The daughter of a disgraced beta, the girl whose mother vanished under mysterious circumstances, the quiet one, the unwanted one. This was her chance to disappear in shame. Elira stepped into the circle. Cold stone pressed beneath her bare feet. The air grew thick, the moonlight descended. She closed her eyes and pushed back, rejected the pull. Blocked the bond, silenced her wolf. Pain exploded through her chest. Gasps erupted from the crowd as the moonlight flickered. "She's resisting," someone whispered. "The moon has never." Elira's knees buckled. Blood trickled from the corner of her lips. Asterisk, yes, reject me, please, asterisk, then, enough. Kale Draven stood, the drums stopped. The forest itself seemed to bow. Elira looked up just as the Alpha King strode into the circle, breaking every sacred rule ever written. His aura slammed into her like a storm. Her wolf screamed awake. Kale cupped her chin, forcing her to meet his gaze. Silver eyes burned with fury and something darker. "Did you truly think," he said coldly, loud enough for everyone to hear, "that you could hide the truth from your Alpha King?" Elira's heart shattered. What truth?" She whispered. Kale turned to the pack, his voice ringing like judgment. "She is not failing the Luna ceremony." Shock rippled through the crowd. "She is suppressing it," murmurs turned to chaos. "And the reason," Kale continued, eyes never leaving her face, "is because Elira Voss carries a bloodline forbidden for over 200 years. The high priestess staggered back. "No, that's impossible." Kale leaned down. his lips brushing Elira's ear. "You are the last descendant of the Shadow Luna," the world exploded. "And this was only the beginning." The clearing erupted into chaos. "No, this is heresy." The Shadow Luna bloodline was erased. She should be executed. Voices clashed like blades, fear and rage rippling through the pack. Elira stood frozen in the moon circle, Kale's hand still gripping her wrist like an unbreakable shackle. The moonlight no longer flickered. It pulsed, responding to her panic. Her heart thundered. "Shadow Luna." The words echoed in her skull like a death sentence. "I don't understand." Elira whispered, her voice trembling. "I never asked for this." Kale turned, his alpha aura exploding outward. Silence. The ground cracked beneath his boots. Every wolf in the clearing dropped to one knee. Every wolf except Elira, the moonlight wrapped tighter around her, defiant, alive, that alone terrified them. Kale faced the high priestess. "The ceremony is not broken." "It is incomplete, incomplete." The priestess stammered. "She is resisting because she was taught to fear what she is." Kale said, "Because someone tried to bury the Shadow Luna line." All eyes swung back to Elira. Memory flooded her mother's whispered warnings, the nights they fled between packs, the way her mother burned every old symbol, every black silver rune. "Hide, Elira, never let them see your wolf." Elira's knees finally gave out. Kale caught her before she hit the stone. The moment his arms closed around her, the bond snapped. A violent surge tore through her chest. Her wolf screamed, then roared. Elira cried out as shadow and moonlight twisted together, flooding her veins with power she had spent her entire life suppressing. Black silver markings ignited along her arms, glowing like living ink. The pack recoiled in horror. "She's binding with him, with the Alpha King." Kale stiffened, his breath hitched, his jaw clenched. Mate. His wolf thundered inside his mind. Kale had fought wars, broken kings, killed men with his bare hands. Nothing prepared him for truth burning through his soul. Elira Voss was his fated mate. "No," Elira sobbed, clutching his chest as the bond seared itself into place. "Please. This can't be real." Kale held her tighter. "It is real," he said hoarsely, "and they will not touch you." A roar split the night. From the outer trees, Alpha Lord Varric Blackthorn stepped into the moonlight, his crimson cloak snapping in wind. His smile was sharp, hungry. So the legends were true. Varric purred. "The Shadow Luna lives and bonds with the strongest Alpha alive." Kale's eyes flashed. "Leave." Now, Varric laughed. "You don't get to command me when what she carries belongs to all packs." Elira felt it then. His gaze wasn't on her face. It was on her markings, on the power awakening beneath her skin. "The Shadow Luna doesn't rule beside an Alpha," Varric continued. "She rules over him." Fear twisted inside Elira. Kale growled low. "You will not claim what is mine." Varric's smile widened. "We'll see." Thunder cracked overhead. The moon darkened for a heartbeat, and in that moment Elira knew her life was no longer her own. Her body carried a power Pax would kill for, and the Alpha King would burn the world before letting her fall. The storm broke before dawn. Rain lashed the obsidian towers of the Alpha King's fortress as Kale carried Elira through its massive gates. Wolves lined the halls, bowing low, eyes filled with fear, awe, and something darker, doubt. A Shadow Luna had never been crowned. A Shadow Luna had only ever ended eras. Elira drifted in and out of consciousness, her body burning as power rewrote her from the inside. Shadows clung to her skin like living silk, reacting to every breath Kale took. "Easy," he murmured, laying her on his bed. "Is bed, forbidden to all others. I won't let it consume you." Her eyes fluttered open. "You don't understand. I'm dangerous." Kale brushed damp hair from her face. "So am I." The bond pulsed between them, raw and unfinished. The Luna ceremony had been interrupted, meaning Elira's power was awake but unanchored. That made her volatile, that made her a weapon. High Priestess Elira entered. Quietly, her face was pale. The old texts were right. She whispered, "Shadow Lunas draw power from fear, secrecy, betrayal." Kale's jaw tightened. Then someone wanted her suppressed. Elira's breath hitched. "My mother," she said, "the pack that sheltered us would turn on me if they knew." Elira's eyes widened. "Your mother didn't flee. She was betrayed." The word shattered something inside Elira. Before she could speak, a scream echoed through the fortress, then another. Kale was on his feet instantly. The windows darkened and shadows surged outward from Elira without her control. "No," she cried. A wolf burst into the chamber, bloodied. Alpha King Varric's forces breached the outer wall. But that's not all, he hesitated. Say it. The attack came from inside. Silence fell like a blade. Kale turned slowly to the high priestess. Alara stepped back, too late. Black runes ignited beneath her feet. For the future of all packs, Alara said, voice hollow. The shadow Luna cannot belong to one alpha. Kale lunged, but shadows exploded from Alara, slamming Alara into the wall. The priestess screamed as darkness wrapped around her throat. Alara sat up, eyes glowing black. Silver, I won't be used, she said, her voice layered with something ancient. Not again. The fortress shook as Varek's howl echoed from beyond the walls. Kale stared at Alara, not with fear but reverence. My mate, he said, kneeling before her, command me. Alara felt the bond lock. For the first time, she didn't resist. Then stand with me, she said softly, power rising like a tide. Because when the sun rises, shadows gathered behind her like wings. They will kneel, or they will fall. The sun never truly rose. A dark veil clung to the sky as if the world itself sensed what was coming. Wolves howled from every corner of the realm, some in loyalty, others in warning. Alara stood on the highest balcony of the fortress, the wind pulling at her darkened Luna cloak. The black, silver markings along her arms had spread, delicate yet terrifying, like a living crown etched into her skin. Below, the courtyard filled with warriors. Pack banners snapped in the air. Kale joined her, his presence steady, unyielding. They're choosing sides. Alara nodded. And some will choose fear. That doesn't make them wrong, he said quietly. It makes them dangerous. The bond between them hummed, no longer raw but tempered. Yet something still ached inside Alara. Kale lifted. I accept the crown, her voice faltered. I won't just be your Luna. He turned to her fully. You'll be something the world has never survived before. She met his gaze. And you? I will stand behind you, he said without hesitation, even if it means breaking the old laws, even if it means the packs call me weak. Her heart clenched. You'd give up your throne. Kale smiled, slow and dangerous. I'd burn it myself. Before she could answer, horns blared. Varek's army poured from the tree line like a living shadow. Warriors from rival packs, mercenaries. Traitors, at their head rode Varek Blackthorn, armored in crimson and bone. He raised his voice, amplified by power stolen from ancient relics. Shadow Luna. Come willingly, and I will spare your mate. Alara stepped forward, Kale's hand tightened on hers. I am done hiding, she said, her voice carrying across the battlefield, and I am done being feared for what others tried to erase. The ground responded. Shadows erupted from beneath the warriors' feet, binding some, scattering others. Varek laughed even as chaos spread. Yes? Show them what you are. Alara raised her hands and stopped. She felt then the cost. Each strike drained something vital, not strength but emotion. Every shadow she commanded dulled her fear, her grief, her love. Kale felt it too. The bond trembled. Alara, he warned, if you keep drawing, I know. She whispered. Varek charged. Kale met him head on, steel and claws colliding. Their fight shook the earth. Alara watched, torn between power and pain. When Varek pinned Kale to the ground, blade at his throat, the world went silent. Alara screamed. Shadows answered, not as weapons, but as judgment. They tore Varek apart, dragging him screaming into the earth. The battlefield fell silent. Alara collapsed to her knees. Kale rushed to her side, lifting her into his arms. Stay with me. Her eyes were dimmer now, quieter. I can't rule like this, she whispered. Every victory takes a piece of me. Kale pressed his forehead to hers. Then we changed the rules. Above them, the clouds finally broke, moonlight and sunlight blending for the first time in history. The packs knelt, not to an alpha, not to a Luna, but to something new.